What up everybody? It's Colt Nerdycore, back again with another video, and this one's going to be my 2019 most anticipated games. So it's going to be a top 10 video, and it's going to cover the games I'm most looking forward to pick up in 2019. So 2018 just passed. It was a great year for gaming. There's a lot of quality games that comes out. One of my favorite probably being Far Cry 5. So this video, as I said before, will cover all my videos that I'm looking forward to in 2019. Not all of them, and not all of them I'm looking to pick up initially when they release, but they're ones I'm looking forward to play, maybe when the prices drop or something like that. Just before we start, sorry for how long the delay has been from the last video to this one. I recently just got a new editing software that I bought and a new mic, so you should be hearing hopefully better sound quality and hopefully a little better editing as I learn the program through it. And so yeah, without further ado, let's just get right into it. First up is Mortal Kombat 11. This is a game scheduled to release on April 23rd, and it's a game I'm really looking forward to. In terms of getting another quality fighting game for my PS4 collection, this game is going to be coming out on the whole ring of systems, so it's going to be coming out on everything, including the Nintendo Switch. So that's good for any sort of console owners. It's a game that everybody can pick up. So far, since it's Mortal Kombat 11, there's 10 games in the series, and the only one I actually own is Mortal Kombat 9 on the Vita, but it's a really great game. And the reason I'm looking forward to picking it up, I always find the Mortal Kombat campaigns to be really good. I find NetherRealms, especially with Injustice, does a really good job on the single-player fighting game campaigns, and that I'm really looking forward to try out. I always like to see what they do with the story. Coming at number 9 is Far Cry New Dawn. Now, this is a game scheduled to release pretty soon, February 15th, so this is one I'm really looking forward to picking up soon, hopefully. This game is a kind of spin-off game of Far Cry 5. The reason why this is lower on my list, even though I love the Far Cry series and I just finished saying Far Cry 5 was one of my favorite games of 2018, is that I'm a little hesitant on it hopefully being not like Far Cry Primal, where they kind of just reuse the map and then just change kind of the aesthetics of the game. I'm really hoping it's not going to be that game, so that's why I'm a little bit skeptical and a little bit holding off on getting too hyped about it. These games have 5 games in total, with a bunch of spin-offs, and the spin-offs included like Blood Dragon, Primal, a couple others, including the spin-offs. There's around 12 games, but I have 3, 4, and 5. 5 being my favorite by a mile. They're first-person shooter RPG games that are very heavy on story in terms of the main quests, and usually have really interesting side characters and a lot of exploration to do in the game. Coming in at number 8 is Dead or Alive 6. And this is another game scheduled to release pretty soon, February 15th as well. And this one will be on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. For those of you who don't know, Dead or Alive is a 3D style fighting game, in which that means you fight on a 3-dimensional plane instead of a 2D plane. So there's a lot more movement mechanics involved with the game, but a lot of the slower and more methodical combos type thing. So as the title would say, there's 5 other games in the series. There's a lot of, like with Street Fighter, the extra editions or like the arcade editions of games, but I don't count those as separate games because they're really just adding on to a game that already exists. So the only one I have is 5. This is the Plus version, which is on the Vita. I really like this game. The story was actually pretty good, and the fighting was pretty smooth. I'm hoping this one to be just like this one in terms of the combat, because I really enjoyed it, and I would like to try to get into these games for the online, because I never actually got into the online with this game. I picked this one up way after the online was dead for this game, so that's why I'm really excited to pick it up. Alright, so coming in at number 7 is Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order. This is a game that's going to be exclusive for the Nintendo Switch. And it's scheduled to be released, or the initial release date is to be in somewhere in 2019. They haven't specified the date yet, so hopefully at E3 or some of the Nintendo press conferences they'll release the date for this, and hopefully it's in 2019. This is a game, for those of you who don't know, is a kind of hack and slash top-down superhero game. So basically you take a lot of the main characters in the Marvel universe as this giant team that you collect throughout the story mode, and then you use them in a party of 4 that you can select out of all the characters and kind of walk around hack and slashing around maps and stuff like that, has a lot of fun combos and grapple moves, and it's just fun to play, especially co-op with somebody. If you have somebody to play with, it's a really fun game. In total, there's 2 games in the series. I don't have either of them. Both of them are pretty hard to come by, but my brother has one of the games, so that's how I played the second one. Coming at number 6 is Team Sonic Racing. This is a game I know a lot of people aren't really too hyped for, but I'm personally really hyped for because I really love the previous games in the series. And this one is scheduled to come out on May 21st, so it's another one that's coming out in the earlier parts of the year. So there's a lot of decent games coming out early parts of 2019. So for those of you who don't know, the Sonic Racing games, at least the newer ones, have followed a very fast-paced format for their kart racing games. Same thing as Mario Kart with the items, the drifting, the speed boosts and stuff like that. But where they change is, at least with the last one, there is the transforming element, and the other ones, it's always seemed to be a faster pace type of kart racer, which I really like. And I'm hoping this one to continue to be the same. So this one will be available for the PS4, Xbox One, PC, and the Nintendo Switch. So there's a plethora of consoles to choose from, which is always awesome. So far there are 12 games in this series. The only one I have personally is All-Star Racing Transformed, as I mentioned previously. This game is really awesome and is one of my favorite games for the Vita, and I think is the best running Vita game on the console, and it's a lot of fun to play. There's a story mode in terms of a kind of linear pathing challenge mode sort of thing, where you complete different worlds that have different map challenges. There'll be like drifting challenges, survival challenges, racing challenges, like different types of tournament style. Alright, next up, coming in at number 5 is Medieval. Now, this is another game that doesn't specifically have a release date, but Sony has said they're planning to get a release date out for 2019, so we'll hopefully get this game soon. For those of you who don't know, the Medieval Games series is a game series. It's like a hack and slash comedic RPG game where you play as Sir Daniel Fothergill. He's like a dead knight who comes back to save the land in like goofy fashions and stuff like that. It's a pretty challenging game series from what I remember, because I haven't played through it in a really long time, but it's a lot of fun. This game is going to be a PlayStation exclusive. It always has been. The only one I have in the series out of the 3 is Resurrections, which is a remake of the first game with a little different map elements and some story elements that they specifically made for the PSP one. This one apparently is not as good as the first one. The first one's apparently a lot better, so I eventually will try that one, and then I'm really excited to play the new one because this game also is really awesome. So coming at number 4 is Fire Emblem Three Houses. This is a game that also doesn't have a specific release date for it, but Nintendo has said they plan to have a release date for spring of 2019, so this game should be coming up soon, hopefully. So this is a game that is specific to the Nintendo Switch. It has always been a Nintendo exclusive, and it seems to have planned to stay that way. The only game I have in the series out of, I think there's like 12 games in the series, is one of the spin-off games. That's the Fire Emblem Warriors, which is a Dynasty Warriors spin-off of the Fire Emblem series. For those of you who don't know, Fire Emblem is like a RPG style grid turn-based system game. It has a lot of rock, paper, scissors mechanics and a lot of troop management mechanics, as well as a very deep story. So I've been told with the original game. So this is a game I'm specifically excited for, to finally try one of the true Fire Emblem games, because a lot of the Fire Emblem games, especially for like the GameCube, are very expensive to buy, and I don't really want to pay 100 or 200 plus to try a game series that I might not even like. So this is a very good opportunity for me to get into this series. Alright, so coming into my top 3, these are the 3 main games I'm really excited for, and these are ones I'm probably going to pick up the second they come out. And first up is Rage 2, and this is a game scheduled to come out in May 14th, so this is another one pretty early into the year, and one I'm really hoping to pick up and get into shortly. For those of you who don't know, Rage is kind of like a Borderlands style of shooter, so it's a first-person shooter with a lot of RPG mechanics in terms of level up your character, different guns, upgrading your guns, upgrading vehicles and stuff like that. And what Rage first one did is had a very cool racing mechanic in the game and a kind of mini open world sense with kind of linear mission areas. So it was actually a really interesting game. So this game will be available for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. It's a game series that only has one other game in the series, as the title would suggest, and I have it for the PS3. It's a really good game, and I would really suggest getting into it before the second game comes out, because I'm hoping it's going to be just as good as the first one. Alright, so coming in at number 2 is Metro Exodus, whatever. The new Metro game coming out. Scheduled to come out on February 15th as well, so there's a ton of games coming out on February 15th if you want to set a date to pick up some good game. So this is another one that's on all the systems that are currently being popular besides the Switch. So it's PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So there's a lot of systems you can pick this one up for. For those of you who don't know, there's 2 other games in the Metro series. I have kind of the compilation of the 2 on the PS4. I would recommend, if you want to get into the series, this is the way to do it. It's the cheapest way, and also they kind of upped everything just a bit, so it plays a lot smoother than the other games. For those of you who don't know, Metro is a post-apocalyptic shooter, so it's a darker shooter, and it's one of those shooters where you can't just go around running, gunning everything, because there's very limited ammo throughout the game. So you can either stealth your way and pick up ammo, or you got to be very sparingly on when you shoot and stuff like that. So there's a lot like monsters, there's other factions that are trying to take over certain areas. So the stories are usually pretty interesting in these games, and the main thing you play these games for is kind of like the atmosphere. It almost has a kind of Bioshock way of taking you in on the dark atmosphere of the game, which really makes it interesting to play through, in my opinion. Alright, so coming at number 1, the game I'm most excited for to come out in 2019 is Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. Now this is a game that I am a very big fan of the series. There's a lot of games in the Crash Racing series, but the 2 that I've played specifically are Nitro Kart and Crash Tag Team Racing, which is my favorite out of the series. This is one that's scheduled to come out on June 21st, so it's a perfect game for the summer. Play with friends, play with online, play some couch co-op. Very good game to pick up over the summer, and I would highly recommend people to look into it. For those of you who don't know, Crash Tag Team Racing is a kart racing game, and the series has always been a kind of middle-of-the-pack speed kart racing game with some good drifting mechanics and a really cool, what usually sets it apart is they have like a kind of open world platforming story mode that kind of mixes in the kart racing into certain segments throughout like an overworld. So it usually adds a different way to play the game. And this game will be available on the Xbox One, PS4, and Switch. This is another game that you can get on any console. Pick it up, have some fun. I think the Switch actually would be an interesting way to play this, because you could play co-op with the sticks and stuff like that. So I think that would be a lot of fun. Alright, so there you have it. That's my top 10 most anticipated games of 2019. I'm hoping this is going to be a great year for gaming, kind of like 2018 was. And I hope you all play some great games in 2019. Let me know which ones you guys are most excited for in the comments. And remember, everybody has some nerdiness at their core.